The process of carving is referred to as a subtractive technique because the finished piece is created by removing unwanted materials. Carving is one of the most unforgiving sculptural processes because once too much material has been subtracted, it cannot be easily added back. When an artist uses a chisel and mallet to carve from a block of stone, for instance, there is a finite amount of material. The artist must visualize the finished form before he or she even begins carving. This is intended to avoid having too little material for the project or way too much left over. Different carvable stones include sedimentary stones such as limestone and sandstone, as well as granite, slate, or jade. These large stone sculptures found on Easter Island in the South Pacific were carved by Polynesian colonizers circa 1250 CE. The largest of these figures weighs about 86 tons, and it remains a mystery today how the workers managed to move these large sculptures around the island. Wood is a much softer carving medium than stone, but it presents its own set of difficulties. The outside of the wood dries much faster than the inside, which can result in cracks and splinters. In the southern United States, there is a strong tradition of wood carving. One notable sub-tradition is that of chainsaw carving. An even more specific tradition is that of chainsaw bear carving. There is something about bears that translates so well into the medium of wood. Maybe it's the girth of the tree that resembles that of the bear, or it's the color of the wood itself. If you drive down enough country roads in the South, you are likely to stumble across one of these intricately carved and majestic creatures. Marble has been a preferred stone for carving since the time of the ancient Greeks. The softness of this stone makes it easy to carve and achieve a great amount of detail. The Pieta by Michelangelo is a wonderful example of the delicacy that an artist can achieve with this medium. The drapery on the body of Mary is carved so thinly in spots that light, it is said, can be seen passing through. This unfinished sculpture by Michelangelo shows the medium of marble in its various stages of completion. Some areas, like the chest of the figure, seem almost smoothed to a finished state, while other areas are still stuck in the unfinished block. This figure is from a series of unfinished works that have come to be known as the slaves. These figures are called as much because they appear to be struggling to free themselves from their binding stone. Auguste Rodin was a 19th century French sculptor who continued the marble carving tradition. Like Michelangelo's slaves, Rodin's sculpture, The Kiss, displays the qualities of the unfinished marble. The difference is that Michelangelo's slaves were not completed, and they were never intended to be displayed in their current state. Rodin's sculpture includes the raw marble as a stylistic concern. While Michelangelo wanted his polished sculptures to seem so believable that we may mistake them for colorless people, Rodin wanted us to view his sculptures for what they really were: stone that has been carved into an artificial form. Plaster is another traditional option for carving. It is much softer than marble and therefore more fragile. What plaster lacks in permanence, though, it makes up in cost. Because plaster is substantially less expensive than marble, artists may not feel the pressure of having to get it right the first time. This plaster sculpture by Rodin is a portrait of the French writer Balzac. Here's another well-known plaster work by Rodin called The Thinker. This iconic piece is meant to serve as an allegory for the endeavors of human creativity and thought.